Everything everyone. Hmm? Good morning. Nigani, good morning. Welcome on the Vola. You crashed by flying object here. What? My English are not good? Surely, I know speak English good. But if I stay bottom for helper. Haha, Rapunzel.
Hello, I see you're awake. I take it you heard what happened to you from my sister. You got here by crashing into the ocean over yonder. We took you in and watched you recover for 3 days. That's around 900 hours in English time. Now, don't be scared, but I have a sneaking suspicion that you'll be the one introducing English to the nobility like myself. What's your name? Oh yeah, that's his name, alright. My name is SETHITE. My sister is Haruya Reza. Don't be surprised, but you have crashed on Vola, the moon. Yeah, take it in. We here have the ability to travel through time. Apparently, from the legends, we were brought here and given our time abilities by a space-time snake who tried eating the moon, but failed because people were hitting pots and pans. It sounds unbelievable, but I don't know how else to explain us being here. So that's how it is. You have a destiny to fulfill here. Yeah, well, it has already happened and it's not that serious. You will have to teach my great-grandfather and his siblings the English language. Yeah, it's not that serious. But before that, before you teach them, I would have to teach you our language first so you can talk to them. This will be an overview before you fully learn this language. By the way, no rush. You don't have to fulfill your destiny as soon as possible, just when you're willing. Are you fine with that? Alright, hold up. Let's get you up. Alright, follow me. Since the moon has long days, our bedrooms are pretty dark. So we can make, I can set up protection for you. Hold up, let me set up projector. Okay. There it goes. Alright. That's right. Please look at the presentation I made for you. Let me introduce our kind. We are called Teo Zeta, and we speak Toto Zeta. Apparently we were once from Earth, just like you. Our ancestors were fishermen, seafarers if you will, but catastrophe struck as the Vehodeve, the great snake, ate them whole and transported them here, legend says. There are 2 more tribes in Vola, Hun and Evil, but they are unimportant to you for they are barbarians. You have given the English name SETHITE for both the language and the people. No, man. With that statement, I have made the statement false via time loop. I'm sure it's meant to happen anyway. Let's just start with the phonology of SETHITE. The sounds of SETHITE are ba, da, ja, ba, da, ja, ga, ha, va, ja, ha, la, I, U, I, O, A. The phonotactics are simple. Syllables are maximum CVC, vowels can be in hiatus, I, U, and A change ba, da, ja, and ha into ma, na, nya, and ng. Got it? Nouns only have one form, and plurals are formed by reduplicating the nouns. Wow, it's so simple. The word order is centered around the verb. Verbs are always on the second spot of the sentence. Other than the verb, anything goes. Nouns are marked by focus. There are three cases this noun can be applied within a sentence. Do, and he. A sentence has to have a verb and a focus. Adjectives by default go after nouns. But there's a really big exception we'll get into later on. Take this simple sentence. Which means I am eating fish. If I change that ngua to nia, it will turn into which is I am being eaten by a fish. Oh no. To change that meaning back somewhat, albeit with different focus, we have to swap the markers in the nouns. Which means the fish is being eaten by me. Just as a tidbit, when the noun is plural, instead of do and hu, we use ke, de, and he. For example, agent voice u marks as the agent, du as the patient, he as the benefactor, or oblique, and the instrumental. Time location uses e unless it's the focus, or y when it's near vowel. Here's some sentences with the same meaning but different focus. There's also a reflective du marking the direct same as the focus, but that's rarely used. Before we go to the next part of the grammar, let me explain how time travel works, since I believe it's like trying to explain a two-dimensional person the third dimension. Great. Now let's jump into the circus-like madness. Imagine time as a river. Everything flows through the river of time. Time travel is movement within this time river. Fighting the current, we call leje, or mountainwards. Flowing with the river, we call laut, or seawards. There's two methods of time travel: using a boat or by walking. Walking is usually more convenient though, but using a boat, you can go to faraway places, like the very far past. Everything that will happen shall and has happened. However, I believe this doesn't mean we don't have free will. Instead, we as people can decide if what we do shall affect the past and the future. Anything that can happen in the past, even with a witness, can be flawed, and thus we can decide how things should go both in the past and in the future. Let's talk places. Space and time are inherently linked. You cannot name a place without naming time. There's two types of space-time, relative and absolute. Let's start with absolute. Think of when a house is built and when it's demolished. The whole span of that building's existence is when that building is. When a place changes names, that's also where the place name ends. This is why we have the tradition of renaming cities over periods of 10 years, so we can stay oriented in this time. Ignore that. The word for here, 理解, means this location, this time. This graph is a diagram of how the word of relative places work. There's 理解 and 理图. The red is 理解 here, according to space and time. That's like arm's reach. But 理图 means somewhere over there in both space and time. So you need to either go forwards or backwards, or left or right, or top or bottom, or mountains or seawards. That's relative time. If you want to say he was here 5 hours ago, you would have to say he is 5 hours mountainwards away from here, which is the same construction as he is 5 kilometers rightward from here. You can also use velocity and paces to do distances. Here's a 5-minute run away from here, which is or here's a 5-minute run away from here. Words can be spoken in reverse. This is because of the aforementioned time travel powers. Wow! The word order also flips, making sentences like turn into okay. There's also a lot of reasons clauses can be reversed, but the most prevalent are verbs. Each sentence has a middle verb, where the word dictates the direction of the sentence. This is the time direction, whether it be seawards or mountainwards. Here's another chart. There are four main forms of the switcheroo: same direction, next swapped, previous swapped, and all swapped. These indicate the aspects. There's continuous, perfect, ingressive, and momentane. There are also affixes to tell what tense it is, which is relative to the direction. There's be for the next and he for the previous. I've included a rough approximation on how it all works. There are also three more special aspects where the verb is broken up: habitual, perfective, and pro-retrospective. Habitual are basically continuous, but like every moment of one's life. Perfective are when time is not of the importance, such as general truths. Pro-retrospective is when an action affects both past and future, like when you punch someone you hate and they told themselves to hate you in the past, so it creates a time of hatred where both parties loses. Or like planning a meal so you get satiated. Other stuff that makes words flip directions are nouns with more than one adjective, or a clause acting as an adjective, where adjectives are reversed and put inside the nouns, except the first one, or the last one, depending on context, really. A red wooden box is bokeju no beiyo, where bono is box. Superlatives and comparators trigger reversals, as shown here. Conjunctions also trigger reversals and split ups. You have to learn all the ways they work too. Final thing before we send this off. There are words that are used as anchor points in between sentences for listeners to not forget the direction of the speaker. These are interjections, just like English. But these interjections also tell how sentences should go, how it's oriented. With that, you have gotten an overview of this language. You will still need to learn this fully to be able to speak well. Before we end the presentation, let me finish with the whole story of the final legend of Vehodeve, told from my mother to me and from me to you, including glossaries. Colors in the SETHITE section will mark split morphemes, while in the glossary, the red means it's a reversed word.
Övli u elaja al ujoch u elto in uchni de imet nu tapocha dun tiebot et me ho ea tababachutu vo apat a aloch de adib web malivoch il navelni peamo etese uchaput I hulkloche he chodot tejaje juangut leadu hoje yuho ha ohu ngu de tola ejalat tuhje ve ala uch hohal ejalat alot ekna ka edich ich hip je du hot ve akapot behe etoch ut na ngani